Hello everyone, and welcome back to the Lang Academy. Imagine waking up one morning, walking to a nearby river, looking down into the water, and seeing something shiny. You bend down, pick it up, and realize it is pure gold. This is not a fairy tale. It actually happened in the United States, and it changed the history of the world forever. Today, we are going to travel back to the year 1848, to a place called California. At that time, California was a quiet, wild territory with very few people. It was a land of beautiful forests, mountains, and rivers. But in just a few months, this quiet land became the most chaotic and exciting place on Earth. More than 300,000 people from all corners of the globe abandoned their homes, left their families, and rushed to California. They all had one common dream: to become rich overnight. This incredible period of history is known as the California Gold Rush. Today, we will discover how it started, the terrible dangers the miners faced, and the surprising truth about who actually made the most money. Our story begins on a cold morning on January 24, 1848. A man named James Marshall was working near a river in Coloma, California. He was building a wooden sawmill for a rich businessman named John Sutter. A sawmill is a place where workers cut wood into long boards. As James Marshall was inspecting the water under the mill, he saw some shiny, yellow flakes in the riverbed. He reached into the freezing water and picked them up. The metal was heavy and bright. He took it to John Sutter, and together they tested it using chemistry. It was real gold. John Sutter was actually terrified by this discovery. He did not want people to find out about the gold. He knew that if the word got out, thousands of people would invade his land and destroy his agricultural business. So, they decided to keep it a total secret. But a secret this big cannot stay hidden for long. A local shopkeeper named Sam Brannan found out about the gold. He was a very clever businessman. Before telling anyone, he bought every single shovel, bucket, and metal pan in the whole area. Then, he ran through the streets of San Francisco holding a small glass bottle filled with shiny gold dust. He shouted to the crowds, "Gold, gold, gold from the American river." The news spread like wildfire. Within days, San Francisco became a ghost town because every single citizen dropped their tools, closed their shops, and ran to the river to look for gold. By 1849, the news reached the rest of the United States, Europe, Asia, and South America. This created a massive global migration. The people who traveled to California in search of gold were called the 49ers, because they arrived in the year 1849. Traveling to California back then was not easy. There were no transcontinental railways and no airplanes. People had to make incredibly dangerous choices to get there. Some people traveled by sea. They boarded crowded wooden ships from New York, sailed all the way down around the southern tip of South America, and then went back up the Pacific Ocean to San Francisco. This journey took up to 6 months, and many people died from terrible diseases or shipwreck storms. Others chose to travel across the land. They packed their belongings into wooden wagons pulled by oxen. They walked for thousands of miles across burning deserts, climbed rocky mountains, and faced attacks and wild animals. When the 49ers finally arrived in California, they did not find a paradise. They found a wild, lawless world. Mining camps grew overnight. People lived in small canvas tents or rough wooden cabins. There were no police officers, no courts, and no laws. If a miner found a good spot on the river, he had to defend it with his own gun. Mining for gold was exhausting and brutal work. Miners spent 12 hours a day standing in freezing river water, bending over, and shaking heavy metal pans to separate the gold from the dirt. Their backs ached, their hands were blistered, and most of them found very little gold. As time went on, the easy gold near the surface disappeared. Large companies arrived with heavy machinery to crush rocks, and the regular independent miners were left with nothing. Many 49ers lost all their money and could not even afford a ticket back home. So, if the miners did not get rich, who did? The real winners of the gold rush were the merchants. The people who sold goods and services to the miners. Remember Sam Brannan, the man who shouted about the gold in San Francisco? Because he bought all the shovels before the rush started, he had a complete monopoly. He bought shovels for 10 cents each and sold them to desperate miners for $15 each. In just a few weeks, he became the first millionaire in California. Another famous example is a German immigrant named Levi Strauss. He arrived in San Francisco wanting to sell heavy canvas cloth to make tents for miners. But he noticed that the miners did not need tents as much as they needed durable pants. Their regular trousers tore easily during the rough work in the mines. Levi Strauss used his heavy fabric to create strong work pants with metal rivets. The miners loved them. Today, we call these pants blue jeans, and Levi Strauss built a global fashion empire without ever mining a single gram of gold. The California gold rush ended around 1855, but it completely transformed America. It turned San Francisco from a small village into a world-class city. It brought people from China, Europe, and Latin America together, creating a diverse culture. It also pushed the government to build railways across the continent. Ultimately, the gold rush created the concept of the American dream. The idea that anyone, no matter how poor, can achieve success and wealth through hard work and a bit of luck. Before we finish, let's review a few useful words from today's story. Sawmill is a factory where logs are sawed into lumber. Flakes are small, flat, very thin pieces of something. Shovel is a tool with a broad blade used for moving earth, coal, or snow. Rivets are short metal pins used for fastening two pieces of fabric or metal together. Thank you so much for listening to the Slow English podcast. Now, I have a question for you. If you lived in 1849, would you risk your life to travel to California for gold? Let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with your friends. See you in the next episode. Have a wonderful day, and keep practicing your English. Bye-bye.